Hello guys, I'm Bethany and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my March wrap up, all the books that I read in March. And I feel like March was like not an amazing reading month, but not a terrible reading month. It was just kind of in the middle. Like I had a few 4.5 star reads, but I also had a few 3.5 star reads, and I only had one 5-star read, not including a reread. So I feel like it was just kind of average. I also feel like in March I streamlined my rating system and like wrote down what each like star rating meant, because I felt like I was just by default rating things like 4 stars, but I didn't really have like a rating system of like, what does a 4-star mean to me? Like, why did I rate 4 stars? What is a 3-star to me? That kind of thing. So I feel like that helped me rate these books better, and I feel like it's easier to like see my thoughts. I don't know how to explain it. I just like I was rating all books like 4 stars, even if I didn't absolutely love them. And I feel like even the 4-star range, I want the book to be like a book I really enjoyed. Anyways, so let's get started. Also, only 4 of the books I own physical copies of, so most of these are gonna be on the screen. So first, I read The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer, and actually I am eating my words on this one because I read Behind the Net a few months ago and did not like it at all. And I literally explicitly said I would not read the second one, and here we are. I read the second one and I love this one way more than Behind the Net. It was so good. I don't know what it was. I feel like, I mean, this one was just as spicy, or it was spicy like the first one, but I feel like there was more substance to it. I liked the characters more. I liked the romance more, and I like flew through it. Like I read it so fast, so I rated it 4.5 stars. In my notes, I wrote, I love a famous athlete who just showers the girl with thoughtful gifts. I love that. So it's about, the main character is a hockey player, and he ends up fake dating his like kind of childhood nemesis in a way, that kind of thing, or something like that. I just loved it. Like I didn't want to put it down. The main character was so sweet, and the found family in this was so good. I'm so excited for the third one, surprisingly. I feel like I was not expecting that after not enjoying the first one, but I really enjoyed this one. Is there a plane? What is going on? Okay. I also really loved the body positivity in this book and Hazel's mindset around that. It was just really good. I really enjoyed it. I also feel like when I film these wrap-ups, I literally don't remember anything about the books. So I'm so sorry if I'm like wrong about the summaries, but it's been a minute since I read it. I just remember really enjoying this, and I didn't want to put it down. So I feel like that's a sign of a good book. What is going on? Anywho's, and I just love a hockey romance. I love sports romances, hockey romances. They're just so good. Next, I read the first 2 books in the Carter Brothers series by Anna Conwell. So the first one is But He's My Grumpy Neighbor. And this is basically about Aiden, the brother Aiden, and he lives in this house. And Juliet, the female main character, ends up moving next door to him. So they're neighbors. And Aiden he's considered grumpy, but he's just like shyer, doesn't really like open up to people. He doesn't like go out of his way to talk to people. But Juliet is kind of like a sunshine girl, more outgoing, wants to get to know him under the like gruff, grumpy exterior. And I really enjoyed this book. I think this is my favorite in the series. Honestly, I gave it 4.5 stars. I think about this book so fondly. Like the setting, it almost like in my head, the way I pictured it was like, and the way it was described, like they live in this like, not a cul-de-sac, but kind of like this like smaller tiny town, and there's this like water in between, or like this little body of water, like a pond or something. He goes on runs around there, and they like do picnics around there and that kind of thing, and they also like are able to walk to the coffee shops, and it's just giving small town, and it was so cute. It's set outside of Atlanta, I think, and I just really enjoyed it. I feel like Anna's books, like the slow burn and the tension is so good. Like she built it up so well, and I feel like the male main character was grumpy, but he was still like a really kind person, and like the way that he would treat Juliet, he was just a sweetie. And I think about this book and Aiden all the time. He was like so sweet and tender to her, and she was so patient with him as he opened up, and it was so good. I loved it so much. And then I read But He's My One Regret, and this is about Levi, and he works as a detective at the police station in, I think this is set in Atlanta, while Aiden lives like outside of Atlanta. He had this girl that he like kind of spent vacation with. Like he met on vacation, they had like a week together, and they like basically fell in love, and then they never speak to each other again. And then 5 years later, I think, she ends up working at his police department as the therapist. So quite an ordeal. And I did really enjoy this. I think it's my least favorite so far in the series, but I still gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. This does touch on grief and like the life of a detective, so those are like content warnings I'd say about this book. I love the therapy representation in this. I love the characters, and I just thought it was really good. I love Anna's books. They're all closed door, and it was just a good time. I feel like you just feel happy, cozy when you read these books. So, and then I read the Briar U series. I vlogged my whole experience reading these, so I won't go too in depth, but I will give like my ratings, my thoughts of all of them. So first is The Chase, which I gave 3.5 stars. I might honestly bump it down to like a 3-star because I didn't love this one. It's my least favorite, but not because of like the female main character. I really liked Summer. She's Dean's sister from the Off-Campus series. Also is the spinoff of the Off-Campus series, Hockey Romances, set in college, but I just didn't really connect to the characters, didn't really connect to the storyline, so it's like my least favorite in the series, and I just didn't love the male main character as much as I've loved other characters by her, but I still enjoyed it. Like, I feel like I enjoy Elle Kennedy's books. They're just really good. And then next I read The Risk, which I did really love. This is about Jake and Brenna, and their banter was super fun. I loved the like kind of enemies almost, because Jake plays for a different school and Brenna goes to Briar and her dad is the hockey coach, so it's like a rivalry kind of thing, which I thought was fun. And I really loved Jake. He was like sweet but confident, and I just loved their like banter, so I gave this 4.25 stars. One of my favorites in the series, like second favorite I think. And then I read The Play, which is my favorite in the series. I gave it 4.5 stars. This follows Hunter and Demi, and this is like friends to lovers. Their banter was just so funny, but basically they meet in class and do this like school project together, which is like a psych project, which I found so interesting, and you just kind of see them like become friends and then become more, and it's just so good. There also is mental health rep in this book. I would say a trigger warning for suicidal thoughts. And if you look in these books, I feel like you should probably check the content warnings because they're like fun times. I love her books, but they also have heavier topics. So I gave that 4.5 stars. I feel like Elle Kennedy is so good at like making a story that's like fun and entertaining to read, but also like touches on harder topics and writing them in a very good way. And then the last book is The Dare, which I gave 4 stars. Not my favorite in the series, but I did still enjoy it. This follows Connor and Taylor, and I really liked Connor. He's that guy that's like every girl wants to be with him, that kind of vibe, but he was still like really sweet and really carrying it to Taylor, which I really loved. And I feel like they brought the best out of each other, but I do feel like some of the like conflict was kind of annoying, but I also feel like it was kind of necessary. And I did think the like sorority aspect of this book was terrifying. So, and also there's a trigger warning for body shaming in this book. So those are my thoughts on the Briar U series. All of these books are spicy. All of Elle Kennedy's books are spicy, so just be aware of that. But really enjoyed this series. I didn't love it as much as the Off-Campus series, but still had a good time. Love a hockey romance series. Next, I read Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I was so excited about this book because I love a cowboy romance, and I've actually been wanting to read this for so long, and I finally did, and it was so good. It basically follows Luke and Emmy, and they're like childhood friends. Like, he is her brother's best friend, and this is set in Meadowlark, Wyoming, so it's like a small town, cowboy vibes. And Emmy rides horses. She moved away to barrel race, I think is what it's called, and then she comes home and she runs into Luke, and you're just following them, and it's just so good. I love the setting, I love this town, I love the found family with these characters, and also feel like there was like deeper aspects to it, which I really enjoyed. And this is spicy, but I would say it's very easy to skip. Like, if you want the chapters to skip, you can DM me and I'll tell you, because I feel like there's some books where like you can skip the spice, but then I feel like the language and the way they talk is still kind of inappropriate throughout the book. But I feel like this, like if you took out the spice, it's like a wholesome rom-com. So if you want the spice chapters to skip, let me know and I'll tell you. But it is a little bit spicy, like a few scenes, but I really enjoyed it, and it was just so like cozy and sweet, and I loved it. Next, I read Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage, which is the second book after Done and Dusted. I read Done and Dusted like a week after release of this book. It just came out in March, and then I went and picked this up at Books A Million, and this was so good. This was my 5-star read of the month, and I still think about this book all the time. Like, it was just like a warm hug, like a cozy time. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it feels like just like a sigh of relief, like just a cozy, fun time. Like, I just loved it so much. I ate up every moment. So this follows Wes Ryder, who is Emmy's brother, and he is renovating his like guest property on the ranch, Rebel Blue Ranch, and he hires an interior designer to help with the renovations, and her name is Ada, and you're just following them, and they are so sweet together. I loved Wes. He's literally an angel on earth, and this was my favorite book of March. It was so good. I just love the cowboy vibes. It just feels like so like cozy. Like, I want to live in Rebel Blue Ranch. Like, I just do. And I like wrote in my notes, it just felt like home. Like, the setting, the found family, the love, like it was just so good, and you feel like cozy and warm reading it. I don't know how to explain it, but like just you're feeling cozy, and I just loved it so much. I feel like the romance between the two characters was so good, and I feel like Wes was like so patient and like didn't push Ada, but just was like there for her, and it was just so sweet. He just like went alongside Ada as she was just learning and growing because of things that had happened in her past, and it was just so good. I love this book so much. Like, you need to read the series. It is just so cozy. It's like a warm hug, and I cannot wait for the next book in the series. I need it right now. So also the mental health representation in this book was so good, and there is a little bit of spice in this, not as much as Done and Dusted, but still so good. Highly recommend this book. incredible. Then I read Visions of You by Catherine Cowles. This is just a little novella that takes place before Whispers of You. Don't really remember much about it. It was so short, but I gave it 3 stars. Just a good, easy read. I feel like it would probably have been like really good if it was full length, but I still had a good time. I honestly don't remember a single thing about it. Like I feel like this girl had a stalker, and I don't know. I don't know what it's about, but it's a short, sweet novella, romantic suspense, so. And then I reread Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. I love this book so much, and I love rereading it because it's everything to me. So this is a small town romance. It's the second book after When in Rome, and it follows Will and Annie. Will is a bodyguard, and Annie is a pie shop owner, and it's just perfect. Absolutely perfect in every single way. So I did read some of this, and I also listened to a lot of it. I feel like I listened to most of it on audio, and it was so good. I feel like the audio was so good. Will's voice, so good. And I feel like every time I read this, something else sticks out to me. And what stuck out to me in this reread was Amelia and Will's like banter. They were so funny together, like literally so funny. If you don't know, Amelia is the female main character in the first book, and she's a pop star, and he is her bodyguard. So I just love their banter. It was so fun, but I just love this book. It's perfect. The romance is so good. My favorite book by Sarah Adams. I love it so much, and I just love rereading it. It's so good. Also, in the midst of this, I think after Practice Makes Perfect, I beta read The Quit List by Katie Bailey. Loved it so much. The slow burn was so good. The pacing was so good. I just loved it. So I wanted to mention that really quickly. It's also reminded me of Practice Makes Perfect in the sense that the guy kind of is like coaching the girl on like finding her soulmate kind of. So loved it so much. Probably one of my favorites by Katie Bailey, and it's coming out this Friday, I think. So it should be out when this video goes up. Gave it like probably a 4.5. I loved it. So highly recommend her new release. The next few books I vlogged reading, so I won't go too in depth of these because I did in the reading vlog. But first is Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. This is her new release, adult romance, and it follows Max and Sophie. And basically Max is an objector at Sophie's wedding. So Sophie finds out that her fiance is cheating on her, but there's like family situations where she doesn't want to like cancel the wedding, so she hires an objector to object the wedding, and then Sophie ends up working with Max on objecting weddings. And I do think I could have enjoyed this more if I read it quicker. I feel like I was reading it for like a week, which for me, I usually binge a romance in like a couple days, but I gave it 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I always love Lynn Painter's books. The banter is so good. They're so funny, and I just have so much fun reading her books, and the plot was interesting, so still enjoyed it, but not my favorite by her. And there is a little bit of spice in this, but not like very much. I feel like it's very short chapters, or like the end of a chapter, very quick. Next, I read But He's My Fake Fiance by Anna Conwell. This is the 3rd book in the Carter Brothers series, and it follows Grayson, who is very much a golden retriever guy. And I've been so excited for his book. I literally ordered the paperback because I knew the paperback would come before the Kindle book came out, like the ebook came out, and I was so excited. So I got it and I binged it also in the reading vlog, and I really enjoyed it. I very much related to Sloane because I feel like she is like shyer, and I just love Grayson. I loved getting more of him. There's also touches of anxiety in this book, so I would check content warnings, but I really related to that as well, and I just really enjoyed this. I gave it 4.5 stars. I maybe 4.25 because I do feel like I liked But He's My Grumpy Neighbor more, which is surprising because I usually don't like neighbors or grumpy characters, but I just love that book. So I really enjoyed this. It's also very much a summer vibe, so I highly recommend reading it this summer. I didn't even say what it's about. It's basically a fake engagement between Grayson and Sloane. Sloane is an author, and basically they pretend to be fake engaged for like a situation that's going on with Sloane, basically. So you're just following that. It was so good. I loved the like touches on her being an author and like the process of that. So I really enjoyed this. It was really good, but it'll be in the reading vlog coming up. Next, I read Tattered Stars by Catherine Cowles. This is the 1st book in the Tattered and Torn series, and I gave this 3 stars. I didn't love it because the main plot of this book is about a cult, because it's a romantic suspense, and the like suspense kind of aspect is about a cult. I feel like that's not a spoiler because it's literally, you find that out pretty much in the 1st chapter of the book. I mean, I don't like remember it saying like cult in the book, but like it's just giving cult like tendencies, you know what I mean, in like an area of this town, which I don't like reading. It kind of gives me the creeps, so I didn't love that. So I was going into it kind of thinking I probably wouldn't enjoy it because of that, but I still wanted to read it because I love the Lost and Found series by Catherine Cowles. I just love a romantic suspense. They are so good. So I gave it a shot, and I did enjoy it. Like, it was still good enough to finish, but I feel like I didn't feel super connected to the characters, and I didn't really care what was going on, and then the cult vibe kind of gave me the creeps. So, and I also think her writing and like her forming of suspense and like dialogue has gotten so much better since writing this. I feel like the Lost and Found series is so good, which I almost feel like you should read this first and then read Lost and Found, because after reading Lost and Found, I went back to this and I was like, it's just not as good as Lost and Found. But anyways, 3 stars. There's a little bit of spice in this, but not too much. I feel like it's just like an end of chapters. It was still like entertaining. I finished it and I did enjoy it, and I did continue the series, but I finished the 2nd book in April, so that will be in the reading vlog and I will talk about it in my wrap up. But anyways, lastly, I read Betrothal or Breakaway by Leah Brunner, and this is a fake marriage romance. It's closed door, and it's the 3rd book in the DC Eagle series. I read Desire, Defense, and Flirtation or Face Off. Love them so much, so I was so excited about this, and I got an arc of it, so I was so excited. And it comes out tomorrow, so it should be out when this video goes up, and I did enjoy it. I feel like I just love her books. I loved the tropes. I love a fake marriage, and they're also best friends, so I feel like it just makes sense. Like it didn't feel weird that they got married because they were just best friends. And basically the female main character is dealing with a heart condition and she needs to have surgery, but she doesn't have insurance. So the female main character is like, let's get married and you can use my insurance. And he is a hockey player, and she also has a little baby, so she is a single mom, and they get married, that kind of vibe, and you're just following them. I feel like it's very much low stakes, not much conflict going on, pretty easy read, and I did enjoy it, but I gave it like 3.5 stars. It wasn't my favorite in the series. My favorite in the series is Flirtation or Face Off. I just loved it so much. Colby, I love him. But yeah, I don't know what it was. I think I was just not super connected to the story, but I still really enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend. If you want a closed door book, if you want a closed door hockey romance, if you like her other books, you would enjoy this. And I loved seeing the characters from the previous books, and also I'm so excited for the next book. I have a feeling I know who it's about, and I'm very excited. That is it for my wrap up. I've been talking for so long, but I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you read in March, what you want to read in April. I think that's it. So I'll see you very soon for my next video. Bye.